Hey, this PoeticWhiz. What a crazy week it's been. Apple WWDC 2020. It's been the most cinematic experience ever. The pre-recorded keynote is something I never thought I would enjoy. And I was not sure how Apple will do it. I was just blown away by the drone shots, as well the pop-up animation. So seamless and breathtaking cinematic views. Let me know if you want Apple to continue with this keynote style. I personally do not mind as long as it makes me happy. So before I talk about what we got to see in WWDC 2020, I would like to address saying a big thank you to Apple for keeping iPhone 6s on iOS 14. As well, I thought this might be the end, but Apple yet again proved themselves right, as I was hoping to see iOS 14 if the 6s gets updated this year or no. I'm so freaking happy Apple did it. Hit like and subscribe button if you own an iPhone 6s with you. As well, I know most of you out there are a bit disappointed that Apple did not announce anything hardware related or showed iMac or MacBook Pro running ARM. So I will get back to the ARM part as well to why Apple did not show it in the keynote. Let's start with iOS 14. Apple just made a Frankenstein version of iOS 14, which we all never thought would ever happen. One is taken from Android OS and the other from jailbreak community and combining it into iOS 14. To be honest, I was pretty blown away by how Apple made iOS 14 look. It was awesome. I feel in some way Apple had taken more dive into the jailbreak side of things than what Android OS has been doing for like 2010 onwards, almost a decade. Why I say so, you can clearly notice with the widget and the music design look more from the jailbreak tweak than from Android OS. As for the app library, that's completely Android OS, the whole thing. I'm still not sure if Apple did the right thing with the whole app library thing. I mean, swiping to the end of the home screen to get it seems a quite hassle, if not for you all, at least for someone out there. If you're not sure what app library is, it's basically stacking up apps into folders or whatever app you have downloaded on your iPhone that has connection to other apps you have installed and make them accessible in one place without you doing anything. It is automatically app library sets up for you from recent apps you have downloaded to the ones you already have on your iPhone. Let me know your thought on the app library. As of me, I wish it was somewhere next to the widgets page, as that would make a lot more sense than swiping all the way to the right. So I will just run to this next thing a bit quickly, as I'm still not sure how this might help you all, but app clip is something new and I would say kind of uncanny to even know if this is a gimmick or just something useful. App clip is basically allowing a small amount of apps to be installed on your iPhone that is required for some useful things to do. But here's what kind of the whole take is. If you do not have the app on your iPhone, via QR code you can get the app installed on your iPhone and still be used for whatever it's needed to be served as. Let's say you are visiting a new place and you need to pay something and you do not have that app installed via app clip. You can place your iPhone to do the further actions and complete your purchase for something. For more details on app clip, do check out the Apple website. So now that Apple has widgets and can be placed anywhere on the iPhone home screen, it's amazing, especially the fact you can customize to your own delight and whichever size of widget you want to go for. So at the moment some widgets are either available in 2 sizes or more than 3 styles. But as the time goes, many apps would bring their own widget to the iPhone. I personally feel I would use the widget mostly for music and for Apple Podcast, as I have lately have started listening to podcasts from awesome tech community. And someone who does not cover tech podcast but is also into tech community. Do recommend me some nice podcast in the comments below. What I like more about the widget than its size and style is you can have multiple widgets together. As the days goes by, it keeps on changing. Not sure if you can set it up two widgets together without making it change by itself, like True Tone Dark Mode. I'm not sure if Android OS had multiple stack widgets together. Let me know if it did. I like how Apple applied it to the iOS 14, the widget, without making it seem dull and boring to have it on the iPhone. Also to let you know, App Library and Moving Widget is not possible in the iPad OS at the moment, maybe in the final release of iOS 14, hopefully. So there are few things Apple did not mention in the keynote, but as for the rumors, we are finally getting to choose our default apps over the default stock apps made by Apple while using Mail, browser or music. As of this recording, it seems it's not available in the iOS 14 Beta 1, but might come in future. As the iOS 14 gets stable, this is just one of those things I feel I might rarely use it, but it's nice to have it. This time Apple did not just show who they are, as well proved it. You need to take a stand for all, even if you are risking yourself in a business world. What I mean by that, Apple has taken great precautions on privacy and how it goes around. Apple has taken a further step with privacy, alongside Sign In with Apple. The new privacy feature could be seen under Safari browser. How you as a person can know if any website is tracking you via audio, camera or private data without your knowledge. Apple has made a few ways letting you know it. One by giving you indication on your status bar with light of green and orange or under the Safari privacy tab. This is across both iOS and iPad OS. Here's a list of devices supporting iOS 14. Let's get into iPad OS. I'm a bit disappointed that we did not get to see Final Cut Pro and other Pro apps being announced on the iPad OS. So later I will give you my thoughts on why and if Apple took the right move by not announcing it. There's nothing major we got to see in iPad OS, as mostly it's to do with the iOS. As this time around, Apple brought some big improvements to Apple Pencil, mostly for those of you who use them on a daily basis. Scribble. Scribble is basically converting your handwritten text into digital text. This also applies to drawing shapes and more. This also could be used anywhere as long as you're using Apple Pencil. Apple has renamed Spotlight to Universal Search, and I must say I really like how it feels on the iPad, especially more than iPhone. I see myself using this more often than before, maybe because of how it feels, and it's more like the Mac OS, it's better. Let's just say, after years of telling Apple for a dark mode, the volume bar, and now Apple has finally made the caller ID a bit more user friendly than having it cover with the whole screen while doing anything. This applies to both iOS as well iPad OS. And I cannot be more thankful to Apple for making iOS 14 available on iPhone 6 with all these long time features requests over a decade. I do not know if at this point if I need anything else from Apple except for the fact Apple could somehow make Apple Music make songs downloadable directly to the iPhone and iPad without needing to plug in via iTunes to sync music. This could be already done via Safari, but it still goes into the Files app instead of saving it in the music library. And talking about music and native Files app, Apple has a new feature called Sidebar that's available on iPad OS, and it should kind of do what the Finder on the Mac does. These are available in Notes, Music, Files, and more. She gets a new overhaul. I'm still not sure if I like the new She interface, as I still feel Apple could have made the She icon or how it feels a bit small, giving it a pop-up effect. Though I like how they have given the notification style view of whatever you ask She. She also gets multilingual translation support. I have a strong feeling that now Apple has finally full-fledged She multilingual support than it did earlier. I still also feel Apple is a bit behind with multi-language support. Either way, it's nice to see the new She interface, especially on the iPad OS. It looks more better and nice than on the iPhone. Before I go ahead, I would like to say Apple has brought some major changes and improvements to the map. It's now more detailed and spot on for whatever you're looking out in the map. Let it be cycle direction for bike lanes, paths, roads, and more. As well, Apple has bought EV route support alongside helping you out with charging stations along the way. I feel this is something more useful than anything I can think of in the map. Apple has added car key and CarPlay, as now you can unlock your car using your iPhone via NFC, as well sending invites to other people to unlock your car with certain rules and guidelines, which kind of might turn into a meme at some point or useful. That's just my first thought. It also mentions in the website saying if your iPhone is low on battery, up to 5 hours car key works. Not sure how true is this, but it kind of makes sense, as well car key would be in your wallet app if you're not having a car key with you. CarPlay gets wallpaper support and more. Apple has added guide to the map. It's helpful. You mark the location you have enjoyed being while traveling or want to make a pre-planned guide for your next travel destination. It can be marked as a guide from restaurants, shops, exploring tourist areas. I feel this is something very handy and could be used more than you know you might. Messages has got the whole WhatsApp vibe to it, with mention in group chat, pinned conversation, group photo, and somewhat new feature called inline reply. What it does is to groups two people's conversation into a separate bubble conversation with their back and forth conversation without having the third person conversation messed up. I feel this makes more sense on iMessage than on WhatsApp, as well coming in with new memoji styles and stickers if you're into it. HomeKit has got minor improvements such as suggested automation, home status, adaptive light, active zone, face recognition, and more. This also is integrated with Apple TV as well. As I said earlier, Apple has focused on privacy on a whole new level. Moving forward, it also brought some major well-rounded improvement to the Safari as well, from customizable startup page to improved tab, inbuilt multilingual translation and Safari extension. I really hope this is not just for the Mac OS alone Safari. If it applies to the iPad OS, it would be more usable than iOS, and I can tell it might not just be very helpful having extension on iPad OS Safari. It may as well bring closer to Mac OS XP or Chrome. But the only downside I could see is if you have multiple extensions or a few selective ones would not cause a major hiccup time to time while using extension on iPad OS. That's just what I feel. Here are the list of devices iPad OS 14 support. Finally coming to Mac OS Big Sur. I'm still not getting past this name. Mac OS feels big now in every sense. Not sure how long it might be. Just like the new name and this being Mac OS 11, the new icon might be having schemorphic design language, just like its early days. Yet the schemorphic design looks even worse than what iOS 7 was. Even my own designs do not look as bad as these look, with hideous icon design and shadows that aren't even in any shape or form represent something. Some of the icons are okay, most of the icons not at all. Mac OS gets Control Center. I'm really happy with what Apple has done with the Mac OS Control Center, as now you can have custom toggles on the menu bar as well without having to download Vanilla or Bartender to do it. As well, Control Center is highly customizable and you can use it the way you want. macOS Notification Center gets widgets with other usual stuff. As I said, Safari has got extensions and other cool stuff. I feel Apple should find a way to get extension support on iPad OS via Safari, as Safari is Apple's default browser. Also, I forgot to mention Apple has improved upon the tab design. I feel Chrome should have this as well, where if you have multiple tabs open on Safari with a glance you can just hover the mouse to the tab to see the preview of what opened in the specific tab. A neat way of doing things seamless and quick without needing to go over each tab. Safari now has web translation as well. Now it supports 7 languages. Now it's time for Mark to leave us and live by himself, as now he has got screwed by Apple. What I mean by that? App privacy information. Let's say you want to download something from the App Store. Before you even download the app, you get to know a mini summary of the app, what's doing with your data and other stuff. This is to ensure privacy between developer and the people downloading their app. When Apple mentioned this in their keynote, I was a bit surprised in a good way, as past week or so things have not been going well on the App Store on privacy and safety. Nice to see Apple address in the keynote. AirPods get automatic device switching, which means whichever iOS device you are on, you don't need to go back and forth to pair via Bluetooth, as well as bilateral audio. In other words, whichever device you are using your AirPod, the way you operate your device with the same momentum your iPad audio reacts, so you do not have to use audio while having a great experience while binge watching or listening to music. It also now notifies if your AirPods are fully charged or no. Here are the list of Macs that support macOS Big Sierra. Before I get into the Apple transition into ARM, I will quickly go through what's new on the watchOS and tvOS. watchOS get powerful new complication face shine. This is something kind of like Apple did, as now if you like someone's watch face, the person can share you their watch face with you and you with them. So this is not like any third party app customization. You now as well get a long awaited sleep tracking mode on watchOS, so you can track how long you have been slept each night at the end of the day. Apple has added 4 new workouts and hand washing feature with 20-minute timer. Here are a list of watchOS device support. tvOS get multi-user support, workout routine with picture-in-picture, and also for the first time picture-in-picture mode is available on iPhone. Now coming to what you all have been waiting for and what it means to Apple and us. Apple at the end of keynote, Apple went on talking about the ARM Mac, aka as of now Apple Silicon, and how they have made the move toward each Apple device and what it means to them on Mac. As Apple has transitioned from PowerPC to Mac OS X and then Intel, and then what it means moving to their own Apple Silicon. Apple already up and running their own native apps on Apple Silicon, and companies like Microsoft and Adobe have already been working natively on Apple Silicon. As well, in order for other Mac developers running their own apps on Apple Silicon, they just need to use the latest version of Xcode and recompile them with the current app status to the new Apple Silicon. Apple also made a software called Universal Binary 2 that helps operate both on Intel based Mac as well Mac built with Apple Silicon. Rosetta 2 helps in running and operating old apps to the Apple Silicon seamlessly and smoothly, and Virtualize helps running other OS on Mac Apple Silicon. All three Universal Binary Rosetta 2 visualization under the Apple Silicon without losing anything. Apple says this transition might take 2 years to get all Mac apps running on Apple Silicon, so we might see few Intel Mac apps in the pipeline along with seeing Mac-based ARM by the end of this year. Before I go ahead and give you my thought on the whole ARM Mac, I would like to let you know why Apple did not add Final Cut Pro or other Apple Pro apps to its iPad OS. It could be for two reasons. One, Apple Silicon is running on A12Z, same as the one found in iPad Pro 2020. Two, this could mean by the end of next WWDC 21, we might get to see either Final Cut Pro or other Pro apps running on natively on iPad OS. or this could be sidecar extension and be used Apple Pro app with sidecar. Either way, I'm most certainly sure Apple could easily bring the Apple Pro app to iPad OS, just the way Luma Fusion is outstanding and amazing on whichever iPad or iPhone you're having it on. Here's my take on ARM. We are still not sure how things might turn out, but I am mostly concerned about the Mac lineup cost with Apple Silicon on it and how well of an upgrade would it be in software side of things with third-party apps. I'm not sure if we could bootcamp Windows OS. Just as you all, I'm disappointed Apple did not show ARM running on the Mac. I feel they are not ready to show it to us, so they had to show it us in the graphic form or the demo way. Either way, we might see the ARM Mac around iPhone launch, but then things should be working out for Apple. As well, Apple is giving Mac Mini to the developers so they can work on their app running on Apple Silicon with A12Z SoC. The developers need to pay $500 to get the Mac Mini. Also, the developers need to return it to Apple once they are done with the optimize the app with the Apple Silicon on macOS Big Sur. Do let me know your thoughts on this year Apple WWDC 2020. Till then, this is your PoeticWhiz. Do not forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Live your dreams.